The listing said no children. Our dream was to have a family, but now that we've found our dream home, we're being denied because we are a family.
After the phone interview, we assumed the apartment was ours.
But when we showed up, the manager was quick to say it's no longer available.
These individuals all experience some form of housing discrimination. If it happens to you, know what to do. Be informed and aware of your rights. The only way to stop housing discrimination is to report it. Take action and visit HUD.gov/fair housing or call HUD's Housing Discrimination Hotline at 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then?
And then nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite.
Look out! Look out!
And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Are you a big guy fed up with clothes that don't fit? Here's a tip. Head to DXL. Anyone can make a bigger shirt, but DXL makes clothes that actually fit. It's all they do. Want to know their secret? Okay, they've spent years developing their own sizing patterns to make sure it's a comfortable fit every time and every size. Good luck finding that anywhere else. So head to DXL.com and check out a store near you. DXL Big and Tall, built for you at DXL.com.
If you're hitting 200 at the plate for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, life isn't that great. But if you're hitting up 200 before the Wahoos games, things can't get much better. 200 South is your Blue Wahoos pre-party destination. Grab an ice-cold draft with the best selection in town at World of Beer. Relax in the most hoppin' spot at Blend Lounge. Or grab a quick bite to eat at Graffiti Pizza or Taco Aguave before the game. 200 South Palafox in downtown Pensacola. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks are all right, but a slice and an ice-cold draft, now that's a home run.
Your home is important. That's why Geico helps make it easy to save on homeowners insurance. Because home is more than just a place. Home is where you have a cute little reading nook for those rainy days when you want to curl up with a good book, but you don't even read, so you just sit in there during thunderstorms and scroll through memes on your phone and laugh in the darkness. The Geico Insurance Agency could help protect the dark, meme-filled corner you call home. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on homeowners insurance.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome into Talk Football with Coach K on this Thursday, May 16th. Once again, our apologies for not being on the air yesterday, Blue Wahoos played an early game against Chattanooga. Happy to report they did win that game, though, by a final score of 7-6. But we're back today, and we've got a lot to talk about. Some New York Jets controversial things happening there, and obviously some more college football. We're going to be taking a look at a couple of other schedules, and just a busy day on today's show. But, Coach, before we get to today's show, we've got a very special guest joining us on tomorrow's show. None other than Tim Brando will be joining us right here on Talk Football coming up tomorrow at noon.
Yeah, what a great show that should be. And Tim, as most of you know, and would remember him at CBS for years. On Saturday, he kind of directed all of college football there. He is one of the most knowledgeable and voices extremely well the content that he has on college football. And we're going to learn a lot about not only the teams around here that he has inside information on, but also the West Coast, which we don't hear very much. I'm especially interested in hearing about the quarterback Jordan Knight at Oregon that everybody's so high on, and he'll have some firsthand knowledge there. So be sure and tune in tomorrow, and we'll have Tim on for the better part of the hour.
All right, Coach, that's going to be a lot of fun, so be sure to be tuning in tomorrow right here on Talk Football on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Coach, want to continue to move through today's show, and because this is an awkward situation. It's a stunning situation, something we didn't expect to happen. It's caused a lot of controversy inside the NFL. A lot of people are kind of wondering what happened here. But the New York Jets, Coach, they fired their general manager, Mike McKagan, and Coach, they promote head coach Adam Gase to that position. They also fire vice president of player personnel Brian Himmeldinger. But Coach, this is an interesting situation, and honestly, you look at the offseason that they have had up until this point, it's been a relatively productive offseason. They've brought in a lot of key players that can help them. They did a good job in the NFL draft, bringing in Quentin Williams there with their number 1 overall pick, or their first round pick right there inside the top 5. Coach, it's been a productive offseason for the Jets, but they fired their GM here, and that's just an interesting situation.
Well, this is going to sound strange to many people, but they're in much better shape now by getting rid of him. There are a lot of things to this story. There's a backstory here. I know a very, very strong coach that was offered the Jet job before Gates and turned it down because of the general manager.
Wow.
Okay? And I know that for a fact. And I will I'll verify that with 2 or 3 other people. But it's verified now as to that happening. I know it happened. I know the guy turned it down. Now, as far as a general manager, and I'm going to go through this one more time, there are 32 teams. If you ask 32 people, whether it be owners or administrative people or whomever, to give you a description of a general manager, you would get 32 different things. I don't know what one is. I know what they try to plug into. They try to plug a guy into telling coaches how they should coach, making judgment on players and talent and coaches, how they coach, and also how to run the ticket office and how to do marketing and how to do all these other things. And as far as the football is concerned, they've never strapped on a jockey strap, much less a headgear.
Right.
And they're telling people how they should. They don't know. That's the bottom line. They're information gatherers. There are a lot of people I know that there are a lot of people that could be, to me, a general manager would be somebody that I would want there to handle the business end of it from A to Z, which would include signing players to contracts based on my coaches' feel for what they're worth. And I'm going to tell you, there was some big discrepancy when he gave Bell all that money. Gates didn't necessarily want Bell, and he didn't want him there, certainly giving him all that money, which he thinks is going to be a disruption to the football team and is not going to be the type offense that he necessarily wants to utilize. So there were some inherent problems there to begin with. I do know that there are a lot of coaches that felt very strongly about the guy. I know that their ownership, before people get too far down the creek and start blaming the owner, Johnson, he had to have known this. He had to have known that at least one, maybe two coaches, I know one for sure, turned down the job because of the general manager he had.
Wow.
Now, having said all that, and I've said an awful lot here about it, but I feel strongly. And as far as I'm concerned, if they want to bring a guy and call him what he really is, a business manager. Do you think that Bill Belichick has a general manager who tells him who he can bring in, who can coach for him,
Absolutely
who can
not.
play?
No. Yeah. He is the GM, yeah.
He is the GM.
Yeah.
Do you think Vince Lombardi had somebody telling him? Do you think Bill Walsh had somebody telling him who he could play and who he couldn't play, who he could coach, who could coach? How about Chuck Noll at Pittsburgh? No. And what I've just gone through is a list of the best organizations the winning organizations in football.
Right. Yeah.
And so take it for what it's worth. General manager is not what he's cracked up to be, what people think they are. And if they just bring in a guy to handle the business end of it, and then bring in somebody else who's really a top-notch personnel guy, let him handle the personnel. And you got a college personnel and a pro personnel guy, and go. Coaches coach. They get the rundown on the players, and the business guy handles the business, and we go play.
Now, Coach, I want to ask you, because they have named head coach Adam Gase as the interim GM as of now. Coach, with everything you're saying and the way that you're taking a look at this, and you listed it out there, and the coaches that have been a part of a successful NFL franchise and some of the most successful NFL franchises in NFL history, they have not had a GM. They've been their own GM. They haven't had to answer to somebody else. Coach, do you think eventually we might see Adam Gase get that interim tag removed and they just name him the GM and head coach, much like Bill Belichick at New England?
I think it's just a matter of semantics. Belichick probably calls a guy general manager, and so did Lombardi, and so did other people. They call a guy a general manager. They run the show, and the general manager handles what general managers should handle, which are the things that the coach shouldn't make the final decisions on, and also getting information together for him. So, without beating it in the ground, I defy you to get an explanation or an interpretation of exactly what a general manager is. It means 32 different things, 32 different teams. And yet you have the press out there talking about the general manager. They've got a perception of what a general manager is. You've got the fans who have a certain perception. They think everybody's got one and they're all the same. It's not even close. Not even close. So these are things that the people, I think Gates, what should happen is Gates should bring somebody in there who he can work with to handle the business hands-off football. I'll take care of football. And then get your scouting arranged the way you want it, and they need to be top-notch. When you put a person as the pro scout and the college scout, they need to be top-notch people.
All right, Coach, let's move on now, but stay inside the NFL. Odell Beckham Jr., Coach, he went to 1 OTAs there with the Cleveland Browns, and that was it. He went to 1 OTA, then he decided to head out west to California, where he's going to spend his time and work out on his own. Coach, we talked a little bit about Le'Veon Bell kind of doing the same thing, but he's actually staying in New York and just working out from his home there in New York, where he's the new home he got when he signed with the Jets. But Odell Beckham Jr., Coach, going to a completely different state, opposite end of the country, heading to California to the West Coast to train on his own. Coach, Should Freddie Kitchens be a little worried about that? Because this is his star receiver that is not participating in workouts with the teams he's going to work out on his own. What are some of the pitfalls with that?
Well, I certainly think he should, but they're going to handle it differently. That's an obvious situation right now. I think Princess Odell should be in Cleveland, okay, working out with people he's never played with before, tuning up the routes, all the adjustments on the routes, the looks on the blitzes and what they do, everything about their offense. He should be there learning and getting adjusted to with the player, certainly the quarterback. Now, you say, well, he can do the same thing in California. That's baloney. Can't do the same thing in California.
Baker Mayfield's not in California.
No, he's not, and neither is the coaching staff. The coaching staff, where they have a chance during these OTAs to talk through all these things on a very, very detailed basis, and also see them run the routes and make the adjustments on the field. You don't have time to do that during the season, and yet he's taking away from it. And Princess Belle, they're I'm in New York. What's he doing? That's ridiculous too, and that's one reason I can see that Adam Gates is not very happy right now. If I were him, I would put a stop to that.
All right, Coach, and let's stay inside the NFL here real quick before we go to break. We did get breaking news of this right before the show went on the air. It does look like Patrick Peterson, the cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals, has been suspended the first 6 games of the 2019 season. Took a little PED that's on the NFL's ban policy, so now he's going to sit out the first 6 games. However, once Game 7 hits, he will be eligible to start playing right away. But, Coach, again, Patrick Peterson, some breaking news here, suspended the first 6 games of the 2019 season.
Well, that's a shame. The Cardinals don't have much talent to drain off anyway, and then to have that happen, that's tough for them. Now these PEDs, I really think they need to have a group of medical people to make that determination, because the league saying something is a PED might just be. It could be as simple as an antihistamine,
right? That
they're taking. So I kind of pull back a little bit on that. Now, if he is indeed taking a legitimate PED, then something needs to be done. But anyway, I think we'd need a little more definition before we dove on that head first.
All right, Coach. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take our first time out of the show. When we come back, we will have more Talk Football with Coach K coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Wings.
Pick or bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Tired of waking up hot and uncomfortable? Start sleeping up to 8 degrees cooler on the reinvented Tempur-Breeze by Tempur-Pedic. It's engineered with a revolutionary cooling system that pulls excess heat away from your body and allows maximum airflow, so you sleep deeper all night and wake up more refreshed every morning. This Memorial Day, save up to $700 on select adjustable mattress sets for deeper, cooler sleep. Find a retailer at Tempur-Pedic.com.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K, and we are coming to you live not only on your radio but also streaming on YouTube as well. Just go in and find our YouTube page at ESPN Pensacola 945. You can subscribe to us. You get a notification every time we go live right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. And the podcast as well. We are available, Talk Football, as a podcast as well. You can find that on SoundCloud and different types of applications, as well as at pippa.io. And you can find us there and listen to different parts of the show. Great guests that we have on the show, like Tim Brando, who will be joining us on tomorrow's show. You can hear that on the podcast as well once the show is over. And we're also streaming on Facebook at facebook.com/ESPNpensacola945. And you can find us on Facebook at Talk Football with Coach K, on Instagram at Talk Football with Coach K, and, of course, on Twitter at Talk Football WCK as well. And just plenty of ways that you can follow along with the show. We got a way you can be a part of the show as well by calling into the studio line 972-1945. Again, that's 972-1945. All right, let's get back into it, Coach, and we've got some NFL to continue to talk about here. It's sort of NFL. I say it's NFL, but it's kind of a mixture of both NFL and college, as Mel Kiper has released his big board for 2020, and, of course, Alabama is sitting at the top of it. But, Coach, you might be surprised it's not Tua Tagovailoa sitting at the top of it. It's actually Jerry Jeudy that's sitting there at the number one spot, the 6'1", 192-pound receiver. And, Jerry Jeudy was a big part of the Alabama offense last year, Coach. And as of right now, Mel Kiper has him sitting at the top of his big board.
Well, based on the standpoint, the talent standpoint, size, all the measurables, everything
Right.
about him, he fits that. I don't think that a receiver would be the number one player taken, but if he's on your board as the best athlete, he certainly deserves to be there.
All right, Coach, and coming up here at number 2, you've got Grant Delpit, the safety out of LSU, 6'3", 203 pounds. This is a guy that is easily a guy that could fit into just about any defense inside the NFL, and he's sitting there. So right here, Coach, right off the bat, 2 SEC West teams in Alabama and LSU sitting atop of Mel Kiper's big board.
Yeah, that's just another example of that LSU defense we've already been talking about. This kid, my gosh, 6'3", safety in there. He's going to be tough to handle.
All right, and coming up next, we've got Chase Young, the defensive end out of Ohio State. Again, he's coming in 6'5", 265 pounds. Coach, after Nick Bosa, this was the biggest defensive lineman for Ohio State, and he's going to be coming out in next year's draft more than likely, and you got to expect a lot of teams are going to be clamoring over him, especially if they have a need on the defensive line.
Yeah, he's a lot like Bosa, so you're looking at a similar type player there, and they make an impact right away because that's what they're built to rush the passer. That's what they're built for. So I think he's certainly, now he could easily be the number one pick. Keep that in mind,
right?
Because he is a pass rusher. What are the first two things? Quarterback, pass rusher. Quarterback, pass rusher. So you could easily see these two guys right here end up being the first two.
All right, Coach, and then, of course, the next one right here, Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback out of Alabama, 6'1", 218 pounds. Still some question, though, on him against bigger competition. Obviously, kind of, I'm not going to say he struggled because he was injured in the SEC championship game against the Georgia Bulldogs. But, Coach, still some situations there to where some people may have questions for him against bigger opponents. And obviously, especially you look at what happened in the national title game, that doesn't help that cause as well. Coach, Tua sitting here at number 4.
Yeah, and I agree. Now, the big question is exactly how you framed it. Against better competition, he's not had his best games, let's put it that way. Not been terrible, but I get to the 2 interceptions against Clemson were really, really tough, but I think the game was pretty much out of hand. And he was injured. We got to keep that in mind, too. But, my gosh, the difference he's made in that Alabama football team has been unbelievable. I think he fought through the injury situation, which to me is more credible, makes him even more credible. So, I think he would have to be rated right there. And you're either going to be looking at him or the pass rusher, I think, as the number 1 picks. That's just the way you go. That's where you go first and pick up the other people later.
All right, Coach, let's move now to another Big Ten defensive end. It's A.J. Epinesa, the defensive end out of Iowa, 6'5", 277 guy. So you hear that, you hear those measurements, 6'5", 277 pounds. Coach, from those, you gather, looks like Tarzan, but, could possibly play like Jane, and that could be a question mark for him heading into the NFL draft.
Well, I got to be honest, I don't know that much about him. I've just heard briefly. I think there's certainly Mel Kiper's justified in putting him up there. He's a pass rusher. He has all the size, and I understand he's a speed guy too. So that would be a place for him. He could move higher.
All right, Coach. Let's move now to let's just start kind of taking a look at it, because there's a lot of players here that some of our listeners here in this area might not necessarily be aware of. So let's just move on. We'll try to recap on some of the SEC and ACC players and some of the bigger name players that might be in this. So we'll move on now to number 8, Coach. That's where Mel Kiper has C.J. Henderson, the quarterback out of University of Florida. I should say cornerback, not quarterback. I know it kind of sounded a little either way there.
Yeah, he's a good corner, and had a good year last year, and I anticipate he'll have another good year. Corners are hard to find, good corners, so he could be up there in that top 10. And one thing we need to really concentrate on is how he has these quarterbacks rated. I think that's very, very interesting on how this early they have the quarterbacks rated in the draft.
Yep, so far we have only seen one right there at the number 4 spot with Tua Tagovailoa. We do have one coming up next, but before we get to that, Coach, number 9, you've got Andrew Thomas, the offensive tackle out of Georgia, 6'5", 320 pounds, big fella that really is going to be a major help for any NFL offensive line.
He's a road grader, and he's an offensive tackle, could play either right or left. He could play the left side. So I think he's going to be a high draft pick. And there's another guy, Jordan. A tackle is very, very valuable. As a quarterback, pass rusher, and then you may be looking at tackle next.
Right.
So he could be up there in that top 5 very easily.
All right, Coach. Next, we have our second quarterback on Mel Kiper's big board for 2020. It's Justin Herbert, the quarterback out of Oregon. He's sitting at number 10.
Well, a number of people said if he came out this year, he would have been the number 1 rated quarterback. We're going to learn a lot more about him. I have seen him. I have seen some of the clips on him. I have talked to a couple of people about him. I think we're going to learn more tomorrow than all of that combined when we have Tim on here. And he really has seen the guy play and knows probably more about him from the inside and as an information gatherer, because keep in mind, Tim Brando is putting together his accounting of players for the year right now, because when football gets here, it's too late. So he knows the importance of this guy to the Pac-12 and to Oregon and directly into the Pac-12 as well. So he's getting all the stats and the information he can available, and I look forward to him discussing this kid tomorrow.
All right, Coach, let's move on now to Trayvon Diggs, the cornerback out of Alabama. Coach, he only played 6 games last season because of a broken foot, but still, those 6 games, he really kind of stood out for that defense for Alabama, and you expect him to have a breakout year this year and impress a lot of scouts and continue to climb up. He's sitting right now on Mel Kiper's pick at 11 for his billboard for 2020. But, Coach, you got to expect when we get a little closer to draft in the year 2020, if we're sitting here talking in February 2020 of next year, he's going to be a little bit higher than that after the season.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know all that much about him right now, have to be honest, other than the fact that if he is a starting corner at the University of Alabama, he's a good football player. That's all I know for sure.
All right, Coach. And again, I'm seeing another trend here as we move on to our next player, which is Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker out of Clemson. He's 6'3", 225 pounds. Coach, as we're starting to go through this big board for Mel Kiper for 2020, again, lots of defensive players in the upcoming draft that are rated here in his top 15 so far.
Yeah, and we had a defensive top-heavy draft this year. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out next year.
And, of course, our next player on the list, Coach, is Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker out of Clemson here at number 12. This is a guy who is, he's 6'3", 225, so he's got the size. But, Coach, it's going to be interesting to see how he can tackle and cover moving up to the NFL level.
I don't know that much about him other than right now my question would be, where is he going to play in the NFL?
Right.
At 223 pounds, I don't know where he's going to play. That's not heavy enough to take on much, if any, run. Certainly he's going to be easy to manhandle, in the pass rush and that type thing. So I don't know where he's going to play. We got to learn more about him before we make any comment.
All right, Coach, let's drop now to number 14, where we've got Derek Brown, the defensive tackle out of the University of Auburn, 6'5", 325-pound guy.
Yeah, he may be higher. He's a guy that may go higher there, depending on, these players are going to have to, they're going to have to go through some real scrutiny this year, I think, at Auburn. I don't think right now my guess is they're not going to have the best of years, and they're going to have to keep their excitement level up and play like you should if you're winning every game. So if he plays like he should play, like we think he can play, then he's going to be a higher draft pick than where he is right now.
All right, Coach, let's move now to number 15. Back-to-back Alabama schools here. We go from Auburn to Alabama. Dylan Moses, the inside linebacker from Alabama. This is a guy 6'3", 233 pounds. And, Coach, when Quentin Williams visited Bristol last month, Mel Kiper had a conversation with him about the next Alabama defender to be the dominant guy on Alabama's defense. And this is who Quentin Williams said. So, Coach, sky's the limit for this guy. The bar's set pretty high with Quentin Williams saying that to Mel Kiper.
Yeah, it is. Quentin's not quite to the point yet where he would be an NFL evaluator of talent, but he certainly is himself a great talent, but I don't know how much he can do in evaluating others. I do know that to play inside he's still a slight bit too light to play inside backer in the NFL. You want a guy there that's about 245. It's got to be about 245 to be able to step up and take on those guards, fullbacks, people that are coming at them there, and even running back if they don't have anybody leading on him. You know, there's some running backs around the league that just run right over you. So I think he's still a little light. If he'll put on some weight this year, I'm sure, and then we'll know more at that point.
All right, Coach, let's move now to T. Higgins sitting here at 16. He's a wide receiver for Clemson. Coach, this is a big guy, 6'4", 200 pounds. He's very good at boxing out cornerbacks and going up for the ball, climbing the ladder, pulling the ball out of the air. He did that 59 catches last year, 12 touchdowns. Coach, T. Higgins can be a receiver that can become a playmaker for any team looking for a wide receiver.
Yeah, I like him. I liked him last year, and I think he's going to be a high round draft pick. I don't know if he'll be that high. Heck, he could be higher. I don't know. Depending on he's got the best quarterback in the country throwing to him, so that's another plus. I mean, he's going to get a number of targets, and the ball's going to be thrown with great accuracy where he can make the catch and have a chance to run with it. So should give him an outstanding opportunity to enhance his position.
All right, Coach, let's drop now to 18 here on Mel Kiper's big board. He has Jake Fromm, the quarterback out of the University of Georgia.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that because, this guy, people continue to underestimate this guy.
Right.
Whether it be Eason, and Eason is another guy who will come out this year. Now, this is an interesting situation. Eason is going to be the starting quarterback at Washington. He left Georgia. He went to Georgia as, with a lot of fanfare as being the number one quarterback, I think, in high school, coming out of high school the year he signed with Georgia. Fromm came along and replaced him. And then they also recruited the Fields, who was supposed to be the number one quarterback the next year, coming out of Georgia, the state of Georgia. And he had to leave to go to Ohio State because of Fromm. Fromm has, and he led Georgia to a national championship game, final game. He as a raw freshman, so he has done some things that not many quarterbacks could do. 5-year quarterbacks. So I like him. I like the kid. I think he's a winner, and I'm glad to see him rated there. And watch the year as Georgia goes. What we say about quarterbacks. If you like him, you got to step up and take him. If somebody really likes Fromm, and a lot of this would be probably based on the intangibles as well, they may reach up and take him real early. So you got to look for that with a guy like him.
All right, Coach, let's drop now to number 20. We've got the running back from Clemson, Travis Etienne, and he's 5'10", 200 pounds. Coach, he was the big running back for Clemson a year ago. You got to expect he's going to be a big productivity piece of that offense this upcoming season, and it's going to be some running backs here in this NFL draft class that people are going to be looking at. But you got to think Etienne at Clemson is going to be one of the top ones.
I would certainly agree with that. I really like this kid. I think he's an all-purpose runner. He's elusive. He's got speed. He can jump through the cracks. He can also run through you. I really like the kid. I think he does it all. And he could. There's a guy that could end up moving up the board as well.
All right, Coach, let's head now to 22. We find Alabama receiver Henry Ruggs III. Again, we talk about a guy like Jerry Jeudy, who's sitting there at number 1 on this big board for Mel Kiper. We've got Henry Ruggs sitting here at 22. Coach, that's the 1-2 punch passing combo for Alabama there, and they're losing both of them next year. But whatever NFL team gets them, it's going to be getting pretty good receivers.
Yeah, you bet. I mean, there's some people that like this kid better than Jeudy. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I like Jeudy. I think Jeudy should be where he is. But this is a good receiver. And plus, both these kids think of the advantage they have, just like we talked about with the Clemson receiver. They got a quarterback who's going to give them a number of targets.
Right.
He's going to throw the ball with tremendous accuracy, which is going to put it in a place where they can catch it easily and also probably have a chance to run with it. So he's going to give them a chance to be better and certainly a showcase as opposed to not seeing the football.
All right, Coach, we'll look at our final player here at 25 to round out Mel Kiper's top 25 big board. You've got Terrell Lewis, another Alabama player, Coach, the outside linebacker, 6'5", 256 pounds. Coach, this is a guy that we've talked about, a couple of other linebackers from the SEC. They're around 225, 230 pounds. Not quite necessarily the size, but, Coach, at 6'5", 256 pounds, that's the size you're looking for a linebacker inside the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm a coach, I'm telling my scouts right now, get everything you can on this kid because he absolutely has the size. He's playing in a great program. We know he's not just there because of his size. He has to have athletic ability to play for them and to be on the field. And he's an outside backer as well, so which means he's probably interchangeable inside to outside based on whether you're 34 or 4'3", but if he's played the outside, that also means that he has to rush the passer, and at that size, he can certainly do it. I like him. I like his size, everything about him.
All right, Coach. Well, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the schedule for the LSU Tigers coming up next, right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings? Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
This summer, take the road trip to complete your baseball stadium bucket list.
And when you do, stay at La Quinta by Wyndham Hotels,
where you can now earn and redeem Wyndham Rewards points at La Quinta and thousands of other Wyndham Rewards properties worldwide.
Plus, free bright side breakfast and the free high-speed Wi-Fi so you can stay in the work zone while you're away.
Well, with perks like these, you're going, gone!
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you triumph.
Book direct at lq.com.
Lawn lovers, run with us on a John Deere Z500 Series Z-Track mower. Built to mow better, faster with an Excel Deep Mower Deck. Because whether you're up against the clock or a busy day, this zero turn gets it done in almost no time at all. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Test drive a Z500 Series Z-Track mower at your John Deere dealer during the Take Your Turn sales event.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WICT. Welcome back in to Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And as we continue on today's show, we are going to be taking a look at the schedule for the LSU Tigers for the 2019 season. So, Coach, let's just go ahead and dive into this. We'll take a look at it. Starting off Game 1, Week 1, Saturday, August 31st, from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Coach, it is the Georgia Southern Eagles heading in to take on the LSU Tigers. Coach, you got to think this is probably not going to be too much of a test for the LSU.
Well, it won't, and it'll give them a good chance to warm their quarterback up and their receivers and get some young people some playing time and increase that depth that they have.
All right, Coach, we move on now to Week 2. This is going to be a little bit of a test. It's actually going to be a pretty big test for them. They're going to head into Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin to take on the Texas Longhorns.
That is going to be a huge game, maybe a huge game nationally. It's going to have there are going to be quite a few playoff-type implications with that game. Going to depend on the quarterbacks. And I think we said this when we looked at Texas. Which quarterback is going to play well, to me, in this game is going to mean the difference. Now, LSU's defense should play extremely well. They've got a good defensive football team, and they've got an excellent opportunity here. If ever they're going to show themselves, this is the chance to do it. I think they go out there, LSU goes out there, and they play well enough to win this football game. Be close, be a good ball game, but they'll play well enough to win it.
All right, Coach, let's move now to the Northwestern State Demons coming into Tiger Stadium there on September 14th.
Yeah, well, again, they get a chance to play everybody that didn't get a chance to play against Texas, and again, create a little more experience and depth with their young people, and give their quarterback time to roll up some statistics which may help him in the long run.
All right, Coach, and then they start SEC play on the 21st as they head to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Coach, it's Vanderbilt, so I think a lot of people are naturally going to look at this game, go LSU versus Vanderbilt. LSU probably wins it easily, but Vandy has this habit of playing teams extremely tough that they should lose to big time. Coach, this actually could end up being a pretty close ball game.
Well, it could. There's no doubt about that. And it's not going to be easy, especially going into Nashville. And this is going to have, if they beat Texas and they're 3-0 going in, they're going to have a lot of national hype behind them. Okay?
Right.
So what does that mean for Vandy? This is one of their 2 or 3 Super Bowls during the year, as far as they're concerned. So they'll be ready to play, and it's not going to be easy. I think there's just no way that Vandy can overcome that talent level that LSU will put on the field.
All right, Coach, let's move now to our next game. Actually, they'll have a bye week on September 28th. Then they'll have their next game October 5th. They'll welcome in the Utah State Aggies to Tiger Stadium.
Well, it's going to be a long, bad trip for Utah State, I can tell you that. Is that on a Saturday night?
They have not released the times yet.
No time yet. Boy, Utah State, they may have trouble getting their kids to come out of the locker room over there. It's going to be tough. They're not going to be able to stay in there at all with LSU, in my opinion. I think LSU would just dominate from the first of the game on.
All right, Coach. Then we head now to October 12th. The game you got to expect is going to be either a top 10 matchup or a top 15 matchup, as the LSU Tigers will welcome in the Florida Gators to Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, and that'll be a game that'll be very well attended, and very, very much interest will be created. A great deal of interest created with this ball game. 2 good football teams. 2 good SEC football teams. I just think the LSU defense at home is going to be a little bit much for Florida to overcome. Right now, I think Florida's maybe a year away from being at this same level. So I think LSU takes a big, big home win here.
All right, Coach. Then LSU will continue SEC play, but on the road this time. They'll head to Davis-Wade Stadium. It's Joe Moorhead's second year with the Bulldogs, and they're going to welcome in the LSU Tigers on October 19th.
Well, like we've talked about Mississippi State, I think Mississippi State underachieved last year, and I don't see them being a big factor at all in the SEC. I think they're back to their norm now. But they certainly cannot. They can't hang with LSU. I think LSU goes in and they lick their wounds, any that they have there from the Florida game, and they get a big win, come back home.
All right, Coach, and we head to their next game, October 26th. Coach, this is against the Auburn Tigers. We've talked about Auburn, that at this point in the year, we both expect things to kind of be, the wheels to be coming off the Gus bus there for the Auburn Tigers, and things just going south for them. So this game in Tiger Stadium, you got to think it's going to be a 2:30 kickoff, maybe even a night game in Tiger Stadium. Coach, any chance Auburn can make it a close ball game, let alone win it?
I think Auburn can. I think Auburn could make it tough on them, but I don't think Auburn's going to have a very good year this year, Jordan. And I think LSU is just way too much. They're probably going to make this game at night as well, and it could well be, depending on how Auburn does at this point, how they are with their schedule, and as to how CBS is going to treat the game as a night game or as a 2:30 game. But it's going to be a game of interest. I think LSU wins it.
All right, Coach, and a beneficial week off for them on November 2nd before they head into Tuscaloosa and Bryant-Denny Stadium to take on the Crimson Tide November 9th.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have that week off because they're going to have a few bumps and bruises, from Florida and from Auburn to get well, and they need to have something a little different against Alabama, offensively certainly. They go into Tuscaloosa, and I think this is one they just run into trouble up there. Alabama may be still a step ahead of LSU. It's going to be a tough football game, be of great interest nationally, but Alabama takes that.
All right, Coach, let's head now to their next game, going to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. Going to be taking on Ole Miss. Coach, I don't think there's a party good enough on the Grove or any bow ties or cocktails or anything like that they're going to have in Ole Miss that's going to be able to help them in this game. The cocktails might help after the game, but it's not going to help during the game. LSU probably going to run over Ole Miss in this one.
Yeah, and it's a shame. This used to be a great rivalry game.
It did.
It was usually played around Halloween. They play it at night. It was spooky in Tiger Stadium on Halloween night, I guess, Ole Miss. But it's not anymore, and you hit it on the head. I mean, I think LSU rolls, and they roll big there.
All right, Coach. Then the next one, they'll head back home to Tiger Stadium, take on the Arkansas Razorbacks.
This has become they're trying to make this a rivalry game. It's the nearest to them in the SEC. And Arkansas. And I think Arkansas wants it to become a rivalry game. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I do know that LSU is too much right now for Arkansas. Arkansas can put whatever offense they want on the field. It's not going to make any difference. LSU is just too big and strong and too good defensively for them.
All right, Coach, and then they'll close it out November 30th against the Texas A&M Aggies at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Coach, Texas A&M's athletic director leaves there to take the job at LSU. There's definitely going to be some buzz around this game. And Jimbo Fisher, Ed Orgeron, Coach, this is going to be one of those games that you're really going to be looking at as a top game to close out that final weekend in college football.
No doubt about it. This is going to be maybe the most interesting game of the LSU season. Now, this game will probably determine who goes to what bowl. It'll determine will have impact on the playoffs. Because if LSU only has one loss at this point, they could certainly be, still be in the picture. But I think Texas A&M. This is a tough stretch for LSU coming down. They've had some tough ball games. I'm going to say Texas A&M has a chance to come in and pull an upset. So we got Texas A&M upset the Tigers, and will have their people extremely upset there in Baton Rouge.
All right, Coach. Still, despite the fact that they would lose to Texas A&M, still expected to be a 2-3 loss season, which means anywhere from 9 to 10 wins for them there in Baton Rouge. So LSU fans, you got to be happy about that. We'll take our final time out of the show. When we come back, more Talk Football with Coach K coming up right after this.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings? Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. You want to be a part of the show, call us on our studio line, 972-1945. Again, that's 972-1945. Coach, as we do at this time in every show, we want to say thank you to our wonderful sponsors here on Talk Football. Those, of course, being Levin Papantonio Law Firm, Beef O'Brady's, Tom Thumb, Bob Tyler Toyota, Hill Kelly Dodge, Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, and then, of course, our friends over at Damien Ice Cream. Those last two, Coach, still have great deals going on that our listeners can take advantage of.
Yeah, if you haven't already, the indoor shooting range, which is the only one in this area out at Car City, if you go out there, say you heard about it on this program, you can shoot at half price. which is a heck of a deal. You should go take advantage of that. And then Damien's Ice Cream. They're a wholesale ice cream company. If you go online, go to damiensicecream.com. Let them know you heard about it on this program. And they got all types of ice cream, everything you could think of, bulk to bars to whatever. They'll sell it to you, to the public now, at wholesale prices. And if you say that you heard it on this program, they'll deduct another 15% from that. Heck of a deal. If you've got anything scheduled in the way of get-togethers or birthdays or whatever, what a great way to load up with a well accepted dessert and ice cream.
Absolutely, Coach. We're coming up not only Father's Day coming up in June, but we've also got, summer's a big season for weddings. So if you want to get some ice cream for your weddings, definitely take advantage of that deal from Damien's.
Oh, for sure. It's a great deal.
All right, Coach, and it looks like something that's great to see inside the NFL with all the turmoil that happened last season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's nice to see stories talking about Ben Roethlisberger bonding with the Steelers. They all went to a lake house and are kind of, getting in touch with each other, and that's something that this team needed, Coach, because this locker room, whether it was Antonio Brown, whether it was Le'Veon Bell, whether it was reports of Ben Roethlisberger getting special treatment by GMs and coaches, this team needs something like this, Coach. If they're going to have any chance of winning that AFC North and being the Pittsburgh Steelers team that we've seen them be the past few seasons, and they're talented enough to still be that team, they need something like this that can kind of re-heal that locker room and get them back on track.
I agree with you totally, and it's always good to see some leaders take charge in the locker room like that. You can bet that had to be a player deal from day one. Now the team may help them pay for something to take, but it's a player deal. It's a good thing to do, not only in the off season, I think especially in the off season, but also as you start play during the year.
All right, Coach, recapping some of the headlines from today's show. The New York Jets fire their GM, and they make Adam Gase the interim GM. They also fire their vice president as well. Coach, I guess it's the last couple of days of spring, so could we call this spring cleaning for the New York Jets?
I would. I'd call it good news for the New York Jets. I think it's just the way that should be going.
And bad news for the Cleveland Browns. It looks like Odell Beckham Jr. showed up for one day of OTAs, then said, "Later, guys, I'm going to California to work out for the rest of the summer, and I'll be back around fall camp." And Coach, we talked about this at the start of the show. I agree with you completely. This is a situation. It's the same as Le'Veon Bell. You're with a new team. You're with a new coaching staff. You're with a new quarterback, especially at a running back position and receiver position like Le'Veon Bell and Odell Beckham Jr. are. You need to be working with that quarterback you're going to be working with throughout the season. You can't go out and work with, Joe Schmo, who used to have a practice team contract in the NFL, who now runs a training academy out in California. You need to be there working with Baker Mayfield because that's going to be the guy that's throwing to you when it counts. So, Coach, Odell Beckham Jr. heading to California to work out, that's a red flag for the Browns.
Don't like it. Don't like it at all. Don't like that or Le'Veon Bell. Either one of them, but all I can say is they should put a stop to that.
Absolutely. All right, that's all the time we have on today's show. Thank you so much for listening to Talk Football with Coach K. For Coach K, I'm Jordan Glass. We'll see you tomorrow right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on